Why? Why doesn't the Western media cover the social uprising, the protest struggle of the Iraqi people against the Islamic tribal regime in Iraq? With the warmest greeting, my name is Ali Javadi. I'm on the leadership committee of the Worker Communist Party of Iran, and I would like to discuss and raise an issue about the protest struggle of the Iraqi people against the Islamic and tribal government in Iraq. It's more than a month that we are witnessing large and massive protest demonstration in different cities of Iraq. These demonstrations, these protests are not limited to small cities or towns. Their participants are not just hundreds or tens or even thousands. Rather, these are mass demonstrations with million participants. And it's more than a month that they are continuing in the major cities in Iraq. These are not in a remote area that no news agency has access to. These are in Iraq, including the capital city, the heart of the Middle East. Important cities in Iraq, including the capital and many other cities such as Basra, Nasiriyeh, Ammare, Halle, Najaf, Karbala, Bagube, and Divaniyeh, and many other cities are witnessing protest struggle in the heat of the summer in Iraq. The slogans and the demands of these protest struggle are for freedom, are humane, and are for secular societies. They are against the totality of the Islamic tribal regime that has been installed in Iraq. They are against the different militia, terrorist Islamic groups, and against the ruling government. They are asking for a secular government in place of the existing Islamic government, tribal government in Iraq. Their main slogan is that not Shia, not Sunni, just secular states. Also a civil, not a religious state. Also bread, freedom, and a civil state are the main slogans that we are witnessing in these demonstrations. But on the other side, that the name itself, the free world, so-called free world, or in the Western democracy, in places that there is no government or state censorship, in places that freedom of speech doesn't mean that you will be jailed and tortured, such as Iran under the Islamic regime or many other dictatorial regime. We are not witnessing any coverage, any deserved coverage of these protest struggle in various cities by millions of Iraqi people. No major news agency, none of the mainstream news agencies of the world, such as CNNs, such as BBC, such as Voice of America, Deutsche Welle, Euronews, and any other agencies, is paying any attention to these struggles, and we rarely hear anything from these protest struggles. We have heard limited amount about the protest struggle in Beirut, in Lebanon, but nothing about the protest struggle of the freedom-loving people, the people who have basically staged mass demonstration in various cities of Iraq. And the question is why? Why aren't we hearing anything? Our answer to this question is the following: that because the government in Iraq, the Islamic tribal government in Iraq, the federal government in Iraq, is basically the product of these Western governments. That basically after the attack of US and its allies in NATO, they formed the government after replacing the despotic government of Saddam Hussein in Iraq. They formed a government based on religion, based on different leadership of the tribes, based on ethnicities, and basically try to shove these type of government as if it was a democracy to the people of Iraq. And basically this is the reason that when we hear the people of Iraq are saying no to the Islamic State, no to the religious states, and this slogan basically fills up the air and the atmosphere in Iraq, they basically do not give it any coverage, they do not give it any attention, as if there is no struggle, as if there is no protest, as if there are no people who are demanding replacement of governments in Iraq. This basically lack of coverage indicates that the role that the media plays, the mainstream media plays, in correlation and in parallel with the state policies of the Western governments and Western states. Their basically role is not to be a source of the truth telling. The Western media, the mainstream media, is not the source of the truth. You cannot hear or find the truth, the whole truth about the social struggles in various places, and in this particular case, social struggles in Iraq, the uprising of the people in Iraq in the news agencies. Basically, the mainstream media is an industry, a very profitable industry for the capital and the ruling class. And they are, alongside the army, the military, the religious institute, an institute that basically tries to shove the political views of the ruling class to people and make people believe in the miseries that they are facing, and basically try to justify the existing unfair, unequal situation, unjust situation that exists in the eyes and in the basically minds of the people in different countries and in the world. But luckily, the world today is not just governed by the mainstream media, or is not under the influence of the ruling class mainstream media. It is also the world of the Facebooks, it's also the world of the Twitters, it's the world of the internet, it's the world of the satellites, and it's the world of hundreds and thousands of basically reporters, freedom-loving reporters that basically reflect the reality of the social struggles in different parts of the world. Freedom-loving people of the world. This is what we are asking. This is what we are demanding. The uprising of the Iraqi people needs your support, your strongest support. They need your solidarity. They need that you basically, against this mass lack of coverage of their uprising, for you to be their basically broadcasting agencies of their struggle in different parts of the world, and inform and educate the masses, the freedom-loving people, the secular people, the socialists, the working class people about the aims and the objectives of their uprising. They are asking for a civil, not a religious government. They are against the Islamic government, they are against the Shias, they are against the Sunnis, they are against the tribal governments. They are asking for freedom, they are asking for end to the poverty and destitution that exists in Iraq. They are asking for a civil government in Iraq in replace of their existing Islamic government, which was the product of the US attack, and basically the US and its allies in collaboration with the Islamic terrorist groups established such a government against the will of the people in Iraq. We are asking for your support. We are asking for you to look up the news and basically act as the news agencies around the world for the social struggle and uprising of the current Iraqi people. Thank you. And this message basically was recorded on September 3rd, 2015.